Coming up, a nationwide food trend comes to Joplin, creating more options for dining and takeout. And the walk to end Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Also, the Royals take the crown at the 73rd Emmys.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Koam Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll check in on your forecast in just a minute. But first, Carl Junction police and state authorities are investigating the detonation of a pipe bomb. It happened around 2 a.m. Friday morning in the yard of a home on the 1100 block of York. That's near Center Creek Park in Carl Junction. Police say someone on a dirt bike style motorcycle stopped in front of the home and threw the pipe bomb into the yard where it detonated. Police say no one was hurt. They've contacted the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms to help in the investigation. One person is dead and 4 children injured following a single vehicle crash in Barton County. The accident happened along US 160, 4 miles north of Golden City. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, just after 8 Saturday night, a car driven by 44-year-old Jason Hawkins of Lamar hit a bull in the road, went off the road, and then struck a tree. Hawkins was taken by helicopter to Cox South Hospital in Springfield, where he later died from his injuries. There were 4 children in the car as well, ages 2 to 11. All 4 were taken to Cox, Barton County in Lamar with minor injuries. Well, dining options are increasing in Joplin even without new restaurants being built. And that's because some popular eateries are setting up ghost kitchens in Joplin and allowing folks to order takeout and delivery. The concept is relatively simple. An out-of-town restaurant strikes a deal with a local restaurant and uses the local kitchen to prepare food that can be ordered online. Famous Dave's Barbecue is doing that in Joplin and has set up shop inside Johnny Carino's on Rangeline.
So far so good. Everyone's liked it. We mainly cater to like hospitals, a couple of the Mercy clinics around here, a couple churches and stuff. Everyone seems to like it and they always call back and order more.
We find out what the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce thinks about local ghost kitchens in our next half hour. The walk to end Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Dozens took to Guerrilla Village at PSU Saturday morning to participate in the walk that had to be held virtually last year because of the pandemic. According to the Alzheimer's Association, an estimated 6.2 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's or dementia. The main goal to raise awareness and raise money for care and a cure. The Brooke Nicole Robinson Foundation held its 3rd annual golf tournament to raise funds and honor the life of 12-year-old Brooke Robinson. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with her parents on how the fundraiser carries on their daughter's legacy.
After losing their daughter Brooke 4 years ago, the Robinsons are using her memory to make an impact on the Joplin community.
Anytime somebody asks her to help out, she's always willing to do so. So the best way we thought to honor her was to hold this event.
On Sunday, the Brooke Nicole Robinson Memorial Foundation hosted their 3rd annual Memorial Foundation golf tournament in memory of Brooke.
All the proceeds from this goes toward high school senior scholarships, and we also donate to youth sports in the Joplin area.
Brooke was a part of 2 youth sports in Joplin, which is where money raised from the event went.
Joplin youth basketball, Joplin youth cheer. Our daughter was involved in both of those, and then the scholarships are for high school seniors that want to pursue their higher education.
To raise funds, golf players pay to take part in a tournament. Those not into playing have the option to take part in a silent auction.
We maxed out on teams, and we even had to turn some away. And we also go out and get donations, and that's what we build baskets. My wife builds a lot of baskets for a silent auction, and it raises a pretty good amount of money.
After an amazing turnout this year, the family says they're grateful for the support in their daughter's memory.
When you talk about friends being family,
This
is it right here. I mean, this is it. So it means the world to us because it's in our daughter's name, and we just couldn't be more proud to be able to carry on her name as much as possible.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KUAM News.
Last year's tournament raised $16,000 in college scholarships and $4,000 for those involved in youth sports. 5:07. Here's a look. We'll check in on your 7-day forecast in just a minute, but first, Kansas City Chiefs battle it out with the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football. We've got highlights. Plus, streaming services take home the lion's share of awards at the 73rd Emmys. We check back on the winners. And a new study puts Moderna on top for preventing COVID-19. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Well, the Chiefs are coming off a big comeback victory over the Browns in Week 1. In Week 2, they continue their tough early season schedule. Kansas City on the road against Baltimore Sunday night. Ravens first possession here. Lamar Jackson fires right into the hands of Tyrann Mathieu. Mathieu takes it 34 yards into the end zone for a big pick six to set the tone of this game early. And later, Mahomes slings it downfield. Demarcus Robinson matches the catch for the touchdown, and the Chiefs are back on top. That makes it 14-7. Well, the Ravens take their first lead of the game with 1:05 remaining in the fourth, and it's 36-35 Baltimore. The Ravens go on to win by that score, giving the Chiefs their first loss of the season. MSSU football picked up its first win of the season on Saturday, a 14-10 road win over Central Oklahoma. Dylan Bolden came up big in the game. He had 2 picks, including one that he returned 27 yards to the house. Also, Brian Boyd Jr. caught a 54-yard touchdown pass from Dawson Hurl with less than a minute left to play. To give the Lions the lead, Boyd finished with 2 catches for 71 yards. Pittsburgh State also locked up a road win, a 48-13 victory over Northeastern State to move to 2-1 on the season. Max Sexton went 16 for 19 with 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Caleb Lewis ran in 2 touchdowns, and Dallas Flowers tallied his 3rd pick in 3 games. Missouri Southern women's soccer team was in action on Sunday, coming off a double overtime tie against 13-ranked Missouri Western. Competition doesn't get any easier. Missouri Southern hosts 18-ranked Central Missouri. Jennies leading by 1. Keeper gives up the rebound on the first shot here. Sydney Leslie is there to put it away. UCM with a penalty shot now. Jordan Austin buries this one to make it 3-1 UCM. Looking for another here. Threw the ball to Leslie. Riley Laver comes up with a big save. There we go. In the second half, next goal is an important one. Long ball to Ella DeRocher. She cuts inside and nets her 2nd goal of the game. Lions within 1. Missouri Southern can't find another though, and they fall 3-2. St. Louis Cardinals are hot. 7 straight wins and holding on to the 2nd wild card spot. Sunday, a sweep against the Padres is up for grabs. First pitch of the game, looking like a leadoff home run for Fernando Tatis Jr. There we go. Dylan Carlin robs him at the wall. Cards now in the first. Nolan Arindo pops it up. Tatis Jr. is there, but he makes an error on the play, and the run comes in for St. Louis. Later in the first, Cards 3-0 already. Harrison Bader in the corner for a 2-run double. Cards up by 5. The Padres, though, build a comeback and get within 1 in the 9th. Jake Cronenworth flies out to Bader for the final out of the game. Cardinals get it done at home, pulling off the 8-7 win. The Royals-Mariners series is split. In the finale, Seattle with a chance to do some damage in the first. Bases loaded. Jared Kelenic doubles off the wall. There we go. 2 runs come across for the Mariners. In the third, it's Kelenic again. This time, he gets the home run. Solo shot. Mariners up 3-0. And a few batters later, Jake Bauers builds the lead. He crushes this ball into the water. It's more of the same. 9th inning now. Mitch Haniger goes deep. His 34th of the year. Seattle cruises by the Royals 7-1. Still to come, the 73rd Emmy Awards.
Television celebrated its biggest stars and shows at last night's Primetime Emmy Awards. I'm Anthony Pura with the event's most memorable moments.
Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast from the KOAM Morning News returns.
We're getting close to 517. I'm putting a smile on my face. We're going to make it through the rest of the day. All right, let's take a live look over 7th and Range Line, where right now is sitting at 72 degrees. It has been a very comfortable morning. Little south breeze. I do give you a piece of advice there as you're rolling past 7th and Range Line, and that is make sure that you slow down and you be safe. I want everybody to do that, and make sure that your brake lights are working as well. Temperatures right now as we stand sit anywhere from 70 in Neosho to 73 in Independence, 71 in both Fort Scott and Nevada. Skywatch Storm Tracker with a little rain out to our northwest. That cold front, though, not upon us as of yet. Still sitting on that fine line right there, and you can see it rides a jet stream. It's still out in western Kansas and central Nebraska, so it really hasn't made that southeasterly collapse, but 'tis on its way. That being said, before it gets here, it is going to present us with temperatures that are going to be all the way into the 90s. So it's another hot one, even for the latter third of September. So let's talk future track here. So there we go for today. You can see how the color contour penetrates. And we get up there, that's going to put us above about 8 to 10 degrees above normal for this time of year when we get to the afternoon hours. And then as we finally get through Monday night into Tuesday, number one, it's a cold front. Number two, it is going to pose us thunderstorm activity. And on the heels of it, it's going to have a whole lot of thunder and lightning with it as well. This is going to be one of those that you're going to notice it when it sweeps through for tonight into tomorrow morning. Give us anywhere from probably 1.5 to 2 inches of rain in certain spots. And look how this is actually one of those we were talking about the other day. I remember Tanya and I were talking. Sometimes we'll have a front roll through. Won't drop, but 5-6 degrees. This one's going to be a degree dropper. And as it pushes through right there, it'll last till about Tuesday mid-morning. It's going to bring us very mild temperatures on Tuesday to the point where we're going to see maybe anywhere from about a 20-degree difference in our daily highs and our overnight lows from one day to the other. Now, that being said, Tuesday is going to be delightful, but it gives you an idea of the impact that front has as it drops from the northwest down to the southeast. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our Something to Talk About. A big night for the Royals and streaming services at the 73rd Emmy Awards. The Netflix drama that's based on Britain's royal family, it took home an armload of honors, while streaming services made their presence well known in a medium formerly dominated by network television. Anthony Purra with the latest. He's in LA.
The Crown.
It was better than a royal flush for The Crown at the 73rd Emmy Awards. The Netflix series was named Best Drama Series, and it stars Olivia Colman and Josh O'Connor, won for their portrayals of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles.
I'd have put money on that not happening.
The Crown also won Best Supporting Actor and Actress, Writing and Directing Awards. Another Netflix queen also reigned supreme. The Queen's Gambit, about a female chess phenom, was named Outstanding Limited Series.
This award is for the fans who told their friends, dude, you gotta watch the orphan girl chess drama.
Apple TV's Ted Lasso scored multiple goals, winning Outstanding Comedy Series. Jason Sudeikis won Best Actor honors. The show about an unlikely American soccer coach in the UK also won for Best Supporting Actor and Actress. HBO's Hacks and Mayor of Easttown, both shot around the pandemic, earned top honors for their lead actresses.
It was this cultural moment, and it brought people together and gave them something to talk about other than a global pandemic, and I want to thank everyone for watching our show.
Ewan McGregor won for his portrayal of the rise and fall of fashion designer Halston. The motion picture version of Hamilton won special honors for Disney+. And on the TV network side, Emmys went to Saturday Night Live and CBS late night talker Stephen Colbert.
I want to thank CBS for giving us the show every night. I want to thank Ted Lasso and Last Week Tonight for not being in this category.
TV's my lifeline.
An all-star hip-hop tribute kicked off television's biggest night. Nominees sang and danced, declaring their love for TV. Cedric the Entertainer hosted the awards from LA's Microsoft Theater. Anthony Purra, CBS News, Los Angeles.
He hadn't let me. Debbie Allen won the Television Academy's Governor's Award. There were also special tributes to actor Michael K. Williams, who passed away earlier this month, and of course Norm Macdonald, who died just last week. Our question to you this morning is, were your favorite shows represented at this year's Emmys? Yes, no, or I was busy watching the Chiefs and Ravens. I'm just kidding. That third one's not an option. So you may not even know if your shows are represented. You can let us know, though, by either going to the KOAMNewsNow.com/vote option or hitting us up via Facebook. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a study of all 3 COVID-19 vaccines in the United States finds the Moderna version is the most effective, but not by a lot. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention led the nationwide study. It involved more than 3,600 adults hospitalized for COVID-19 between March and August. Researchers also looked at antibodies in the blood of 100 healthy volunteers after they had been vaccinated. They found Moderna's vaccine was slightly more effective than Pfizer's in keeping people out of the hospital. Moderna's vaccine provided 93% protection against hospitalization to Pfizer's 88%. Researchers found the biggest difference was that Pfizer's effectiveness started to decline about 4 months after people were fully vaccinated. Johnson & Johnson's vaccine comes in third, but still provides more than 70% protection against hospitalization. CDC says although the data shows some variation in the levels of protection, all 3 provide substantial protection against COVID-19 hospitalization. FDA vaccine advisors now recommend booster doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for people 65 and older and those at high risk of severe COVID-19. Friday's vote on the recommendation came just after the committee voted against approving booster doses for all people 16 and older. Several members of the committee voiced doubts that it is a good idea to start giving boosters to the entire population. Specifically, they mentioned younger adults and older teens who may have a higher risk of rare complication called myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart. More than 2 million people have received an additional dose or booster since August 13th. Well, this new FDA recommendation is forcing the Biden administration to change up its approach when it comes to the possibility of booster shots. Alex Hogan has details.
Demonstrators Saturday in New York City protesting the city requiring proof of vaccination to enter most indoor restaurants and businesses. Across the country, 24 GOP attorneys general announced plans to file lawsuits against the Biden administration over its own vaccine mandate. But according to a new Fox News poll, most Americans don't feel the same way. The survey found a majority of respondents support mask and vaccine mandates for schools and businesses. And nearly 2/3 say they believe the vaccines are safe and effective. Experts are still split on whether Americans will need booster shots at some point. Studies show the immunity provided by the vaccine could decrease over time.
It's clear the waning of the effectiveness of those vaccines is a reality, and we need to respond to it.
The White House had announced a plan to roll them out starting on Monday. An FDA advisory panel on Friday recommended the Pfizer booster shot for people 65 and older or those who are at high risk, but advised against them for everyone else. For now, the administration is still focused on getting people to take their first shot.
We think it's important to get boosters to people, but the overwhelming highest priority is to vaccinate the unvaccinated.
Parents waiting on vaccine approval for kids under the age of 12 will still have to wait a little longer. Pfizer could release data from its clinical trials on that age group by the end of next month. In New York, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Top health stories, you're watching the KOAM Morning News.
For this September the 20th, hard to believe we're in the latter third of September right now. We put that record high at 99 degrees, dating back to 1954. Look at that record low, though. That's to me is more impressive. 38 degrees in 1991. My goodness. For our precipitation, we're actually only off by about, from historical norms, only off by about an inch. If you want to go back to January 1. Joplin, 7th in the range line, 72 degrees, little southerly breeze. Waiting on that front to roll in. I haven't seen the wind kind of flip around on us and create that low pressure as of yet. So everybody pretty much low 70s. See Iola, Monette, and Cassville all at 68. Everybody else is already above 70 and going to stay there. But this is the one that's going to bring it. Not this one right here. Not of this one. This one. Well, that's the one with the fall-like temperatures and the cold front behind it that is headed our way as that thing just rides a jet stream right now. Let's talk about a little thunderstorm map. Everything really severe-wise, whether it be high winds or hail, is going to stay up to the north of us from really northern Missouri, northeast Missouri, up to the Great Lakes. But we're going to see thunder and lightning, that is for sure. Now, while we're talking about severe weather, let's run out and talk a little tropical weather. We've got Peter and we've got Rose. We'll start with Peter. Tropical storm. Looks like it's going to skirt Puerto Rico and then become a low pressure system by the weekend. Stay away from the U.S. mainland. If you missed it, there was we've also already had. I'm going to say it wrong. Odette. I think it was pronounced Odette. Anyway, we skipped the letter O. Now we got Rose. We're already up to the R's, and Rose is sitting off the African coast. Remember, when that big front rolls through, it's going to be cooler temperatures down to the 70s, and it's going to be a delightful middle of the week. We'll be back right after this.
Coming up, a nationwide food trend comes to Joplin, creating more options for dining and takeout. And the Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Also, the Royals take the crown at the 73rd Emmys.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. If you're looking forward to some milder temperatures, you're in luck.
Coming.
Let's go straight to Michael Hayslip.
One day closer. Tomorrow we're going. Yeah, you wait till tomorrow night.
I'm excited.
You excited to bust open the furnace?
You know what?
We're talking the possibility of dipping down to 49 degrees.
I just closed the windows in time. My household's heat.
49 though, that's a little eye-opening. It's 72 right now. That's a crazy thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning, and it's really going to be a very warm, if not hot, afternoon before this cold front hits us and drops us some 20 degrees. Everything from 68, Monette, Cassville, and Iola up to 72 that we're seeing in Joplin, Miami, and Parsons. As far as the Skywatch Storm Tracker goes, that's not the band of thunderstorms that's sitting out to our northwest. That's just some rain. Here's the band that's going to bring us the cold weather right there, and it's indicative of where we see the color contour. And the jet stream roll throughs. Everything on that is going to collapse down and move to the southeast. And when it does, it is going to bring us rather impressive amounts of rain, thunder, lightning, and much, much cooler weather. So here's our timing. As we get into late tonight, as the clouds build, it's going to be an overnight affair, and we'll see anywhere from pockets of 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain that go along with it. And as it sweeps through right there, look at those afternoon temperatures. We're talking about a 20-degree difference, and 70 is very comfortable. Don't get me wrong, from where we'll be this afternoon to where we'll be tomorrow afternoon. But the big factor, I think, is going to be what it feels like overnights. As we see overnight lows not only in the low 50s, we're still going to call for 49 in between Tuesday and Wednesday.
It's going to be.
I haven't gone through.
I'm liking it though.
I haven't gone through my layers yet.
Oh, got to get the.
I know. Yeah. I haven't done it yet. I gotta go find them.
Are you a fan of like electric blankets or anything like that, or just layered blankets?
Does it equal warmth?
Well, my problem is one time I had an electric blanket and it had a short and it caught on fire. And that was not pleasant.
Okay. Wow, you put me in an awkward spot.
Luckily, I woke up right before it happened.
Uh-huh.
Just I sensed it. I woke up and all of a sudden there was like a spark and a flame at the foot of my bed, and I was like, ah! So I threw the top on the bottom and unplugged it.
And you've never used an electric blanket since, and that makes sense. You know, I'm such a wimp that anything that equals warmth, chances are I'm on board.
Yeah.
Right. God bless you, Chris Moore. How you ever got me to jump in that pool of freezing water is a mystery to me.
That's true. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, authorities investigate a robbery at the Grace Baptist Church in Baxter Springs. Russell Presson, the church's pastor, says he arrived Sunday morning to see the church had been broken into and several items missing. Among the stolen, many valuable items important for worship, including a guitar, a laptop, and a flat screen TV.
We lost an 88-key keyboard. It was a piano keyboard, full 88 key. It was taken as well. And that is probably the major items. There's some small things, bags of tools. They stole the money out of our Operation Christian Christmas Child jar.
The church filed a report with the Baxter Springs Police Department and says if you know anything about the robbery, to reach out to them. Dining options are increasing in Joplin even without new restaurants being built, and that's because some ghost kitchens have set up shop. KOAM's Mike Mahoney explains.
Barbecue ribs probably aren't the first thing that comes to mind when one thinks about Joplin Italian eatery Johnny Carino's. But their recent ghost kitchen deal with Famous Dave's Barbecue is changing that.
Corporate decided to team up with Famous Dave's to get a location going down here in Joplin. You can order some of our stuff on the menu in the restaurant, but it's mainly like a ghost kitchen.
The ghost kitchen concept is relatively simple. An out-of-town restaurant strikes a deal with a local restaurant and uses the local kitchen to prepare food that can be ordered online and delivered. Four-staters craving some Famous Dave's Barbecue used to have to travel to Branson, but now it's being prepared right on Range Line.
So far so good. Everyone's liked it. We mainly cater to like hospitals, a couple of the Mercy clinics around here, a couple churches and stuff. Everyone seems to like it, and they always call back and order more.
Ghost kitchens provide companies with a cost-effective way to try out their food in a new market. And if it's a hit, that increases the likelihood of the company behind the ghost kitchen permanently setting up shop.
A lot of industries or companies will look at Joplin and say, oh, you're 50,000 people. But we swell up to 250,000 during the day. Our metro reach is much bigger than what we look like on paper. So I think some of these national chains that can set up a ghost kitchen and get their product out and see what kind of momentum they will have, they will see that some of that quantitative data isn't all that quantitative, that the market will drive opportunity, and we have lots of opportunity in Joplin.
In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The Famous Dave's Barbecue Ghost Kitchen has been operating in Joplin for about 3 months now. Well, the Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Dozens took to Guerrilla Village at PSU Saturday morning to participate in the walk that had to be held virtually last year because of the pandemic. According to the Alzheimer's Association, an estimated 6.2 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's or dementia. The main goal, to raise awareness and raise money for care and a cure.
Alzheimer's is a public health crisis, and being that it's a public health crisis, it affects 1 in 3 people over the age of 83 actually, and then 1 in 3 people die of this disease. So eventually we see struggles with this in every family, in every walk of life.
More than $13,000 were raised leading up to the walk. Now, later in the show, we'll hear the reasons why a few residents decided to walk. Well, plenty of four-staters were out and about in Jasper, Missouri on Saturday for the one and only Jasper Days. The day started with a VFW breakfast and was followed by local shops and vendors taking over downtown, and then a grand parade featuring a marching band, plenty of floats, and folks throwing out candy for the kids. One of the groups who set up a tent at the Jasper Christian Church say they were out there raising money for the church's new playground equipment.
Pretty good. We've had actually a lot of foot traffic, so that was pretty good. A lot of people buying stuff, playing the games we had, so yeah.
Following the parade, Jasper Days featured a kids tractor pull and a kids pig scramble. How fun. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, France pulls its ambassador from the U.S. We'll have the latest on tensions building between the two countries. Plus a man, well, rather, a giant teddy bear is walking with a purpose. We're going to find out why. But first, it's 5:37.
Temperatures up into the 90s today, but then thunderstorm activity for tonight going to feed us a big cold front. That's going to drop us some 20 degrees with daily highs. It'll only be in the 70s on Tuesday. Overnight lows, Talking about high 40s, low 50s. Be back with World Watch right after this.
Heads of the aisle are condemning the deadly drone strike the U.S. military carried out in Kabul, Afghanistan 3 weeks ago. 10 civilians were killed, including 7 children. Alexandria Hoff has the latest from Washington.
According to the Pentagon, they were handling a flurry of possible imminent threats in the 36 hours prior to this strike. In that disorder, they got this very wrong.
It's heartbreaking to hear this. It's yet another failure of intelligence on our part. And what we're seeing is mistake after mistake in execution.
This is not only a human tragedy, it reflects on us before the entire world. It's unacceptable.
Criticism has been pouring in since the Pentagon admitted to a deadly and misguided drone strike carried out just one day before the U.S. departed Afghanistan.
This strike was taken in the earnest belief that it would prevent an imminent threat to our forces and the evacuees at the airport. But it was a mistake, and I offer my sincere apology.
An apology and grief for what the families of 10 civilians, up to 7 of them children, killed in the strike are left with. 3 days after 13 U.S. service members were killed at the Kabul airport, a Reaper drone fired upon a vehicle believed to be carrying ISIS-K terrorists. The target turned out to be an aid worker. Initially, Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark Milley defended the strike, but General Kenneth McKenzie knew something was wrong.
We think that the procedures were correctly followed and it was a righteous strike.
We knew from the very beginning there was a possibility of civilian casualties.
Many are questioning the U.S.'s ability to vet terror threats without boots on the ground in Afghanistan. Former Joint Chiefs Chair Admiral Michael Mullen weighed in this morning.
The over-the-horizon capability is really there. Doing it in an extremely quick, confused, chaotic environment made this one that much more difficult and problematic.
The Pentagon is now considering reparations for the families of those killed in the strike. Officials say no disciplinary action is to be expected. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Well, tension is building between the Biden administration and America's oldest foreign ally. French officials are upset over a military deal between the U.S., Australia, and Great Britain, and they've responded by pulling their ambassador from Washington, D.C. Rich Edson reports from the State Department.
Allies and partners, the foundation of the Biden administration's foreign policy, and a strategy openly cheered months ago in European capitals. Though a new security partnership just announced between the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia has allies in Europe, especially France, irate.
We have a feeling, yes, of not being treated like an ally. France play a key role in the Indo-Pacific Ocean.
The U.S. and U.K. agreed to provide nuclear submarine technology to Australia as American allies bolster their presence in the Indo-Pacific to counter China. The European Union's foreign policy chief complained the United States failed to even notify the Europeans about this deal. The French also lose out on an agreement they signed with Australia in 2016 to provide tens of billions of dollars in submarines.
I do think there is a sense of disappointment right now in Europe towards the Biden administration, especially after 4 years of disagreements and conflicts under the Trump administration. There was a hope for sort of a new age in transatlantic relations, and we've seen very little substance to show for it.
A French diplomat says France's embassy in Washington has canceled a reception tonight to commemorate the 240th anniversary of the Battle of the Capes, a French naval victory over the British, resulting in a successful siege of Yorktown and the creation of the United States of America.
France in particular is a vital partner on this and so many other issues, stretching back generations, and we want to find every opportunity to deepen our transatlantic cooperation in the Indo-Pacific and around the world.
Blinken says the administration had spoken with the French government ahead of the Australian partnership announcement. The French government has announced it's recalling its ambassadors to the United States and Australia, saying this submarine deal represents unacceptable behavior among allies and partners. A White House official says the U.S. has been in close contact with French leaders and will continue to try to resolve these differences. At the State Department, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral is on track to reopen in 2024, and that's according to the public body responsible for its conservation. The group says the building is entirely secured. Restoration works are set to begin in the coming months. The 850-year-old church was partially destroyed following a fire in 2019. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
73rd Emmy Awards is what we're talking about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Instant Poll. Cedric the Entertainer hosting last night's show along with an all-star hip-hop tribute. Netflix's The Crown winning the award for Best Drama Series alongside Best Supporting Actor and Actress and Writing and Directing awards. All-stars Olivia Colman and Josh O'Connor won for their portrayals of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles. Another Netflix series also won awards, Queen's Gambit. My God, how many times did the wise woman make me watch it? It is great. It is wonderful. It's just I've watched it a lot. Our question to you on the KOAM News Now Facebook page is if your show was fairly represented right now. 67% of you said yes. I know a lot of you are watching football as well, and rightfully so, with the Chiefs game. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities investigate a robbery at the Grace Baptist Church in Baxter Springs. Russell Presson, the church's pastor, says he arrived Sunday morning to see the church had been broken into, with several items missing. Among the stolen, many valuable items important for worship, including a guitar, a laptop, and a flat-screen TV. Dining options are increasing in Joplin even without new restaurants being built, and that's because some popular eateries are setting up ghost kitchens in Joplin, allowing folks to order takeout and delivery. The concept is relatively simple. An out-of-town restaurant strikes a deal with a local restaurant, uses the local kitchen to prepare food that can be ordered online. Famous Dave's Barbecue is doing that in Joplin and has set up shop inside Johnny Carino's on Rangeline. The Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Dozens took to Guerrilla Village at PSU Saturday morning to participate in the walk that had to be held virtually last year because of the pandemic. According to the Alzheimer's Association, an estimated 6.2 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's or dementia. The main goal to raise awareness and raise money for care and a cure. The Breast Cancer Foundation of the Ozark holds its first ever Bras at the Bridge event at the Reddings Mill Bridge south of Joplin. The donated bras will be given to the Lafayette House and other women's organizations. There were also bras that were decorated by a sorority out of Springfield, and then a series of bras decorated by breast cancer survivors. Those bras could be bid on, with the proceeds going to benefit the Breast Cancer Foundation of the Ozarks. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Tanya, I was thinking about it over the weekend. It's a testament to the 4 states with the amount of nonprofit activities that we had over the weekend that people not only partook in, but they made ultimate successes out of. And I appreciate each and every one of you, whether you were a part of the bra activity, whether you were a part of the Alzheimer's walk. Can't thank you all enough. Highs in the 90s today, thunderstorm activity overnight into tomorrow morning, then daily highs not only in the 70s, but overnight lows dropping into the 50s. Be back right after this.
Well, a man in a teddy bear costume is walking across the country for a good cause. He's documenting his journey on Instagram and his webpage. Amanda Gilbert met up with him in Oklahoma about halfway through his journey.
Look at that beautiful sunset, guys.
A bear's been spotted in Oklahoma, but this is the friendly kind.
Oklahoma, guys.
Bear's son is walking from California to New York City. And here in Tulsa, the teddy bear celebrated his halfway mark, 70 days.
But it feels good though, knowing that I made it this far, because a lot of people were doubtful about it.
He's made it to Pawhuska and even Bartlesville.
I'm headed towards Barsneville, guys. Or Beeville.
Sleeping in tents or hotel rooms. While some days are hot,
the humidity here kind of turns it into a sauna.
It's worth it.
I've been getting a lot of stories about very personal stories from people when they walk with me. And I get to learn a lot. I've been learning a lot.
Okay. He even learned about the echo
at
Tulsa's Center of the Universe.
You hear it?
Yeah, I hear it. That's wild.
There's a reason he's doing all this. His website shows he's asking people to donate money to one of 5 different charities, such as Active Minds or the Autism Society for America. He sure stands out, so he brings awareness while meeting so many people.
Are you guys gonna follow me into town? How are you guys, dudes?
The teddy bear is, of course, a friend to all.
That's the biggest question. Does it stink? No, it doesn't. You can smell me, by the way, if you come say hi. Good morning.
But the chance to say hi is soon ending as he travels to Missouri next.
Well, lucky for him, the weather will be much better this week, a little bit cooler. We'll have more on those temperatures when we return.
Temperatures right now ranging anywhere from high 60s to low 70s. We've got a couple of 68s that we're still holding on to in Monette and Cassville. Iola bumping up to 69, but everybody else 71, 72. Kind of the dominant number on our Monday morning. We've got another hot one on our hands. We're going to have sunshine early on, work up into the 90s, and then let's talk about fall. That was that was straight coaching right there. I don't know where that came from. It's when you're encouraging your kids. Right, know your strike zone. Cold front moves in overnight. Fall-like temperatures coming our way tomorrow.
Coming up, a nationwide food trend comes to Joplin, creating more options for dining and takeout. And the Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Also, the Royals take the crown at the 73rd Emmys.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We've been patient, we've been waiting, and we don't have too much longer to get those
Queen's
cooler
Gambit finally won something.
Oh, yes,
it was something
that too.
else. I know. I know how excited you are about that.
Hey, I'm a fan of the crown, and you know that.
Oh, wait, were you talking about fall temperatures or
Yes,
Queen's
I
Gambit?
was. I was talking about the weather and how I am ready for fall to get here.
My bad. I thought you were excited because Queen's Gambit won some awards.
I'm happy about the crown winning. I never really got into the Queen's Gambit. I will eventually, but
Bring back the Wise one. She's going to make you watch it 8 times is what's going to happen. Highs ranging from 66 in Monette all the way up to 74 in Chanute. We're seeing the gap begin to widen here as the temperature is definitely cooler on the eastern side of the 4 states. Now, eventually, we're all going to make it up into the 90s. We've been talking about thunderstorm activity. It's not the one that's lingering out to our west. It's actually this one that is right now in the northwestern portion of Nebraska. That's the one that's riding the jet stream as it will collapse down to the southeast throughout the course of our Monday and eventually be on us, but not until tonight. When it does, it's going to bring not only thunder and lightning, but also, too, we're going to see a huge drop in temperatures. Look at that. See, we're sitting at red there. We're at 90. We're like, my goodness, it's the latter third of September. What are we doing? And then this thing rolls through, and we're talking about a 25-degree drop when it does. We're going to see 50s easy. Top out tomorrow in the 70s. So daily high, 20-degree difference. Tanya, we're talking about overnight lows that we're going to throw a 49 in there. It's going to be interesting to see what our average September high does because we're sitting about 90.4 degrees right now. And how much of a difference will this make in the last 10 days of September? That's a rhetorical question because I don't know the answer to it. I promise.
But that will help the average, bring it down and make it seem like it wasn't unbearable at the beginning of the month.
No joke. Yeah.
Right?
Okay, you and I are going to start showing up as sweatshirts. Mark my words. Look at those overnight lows. I got to go cut an interview. But mark my lows. You and I are going to start.
Mark my lows.
We're going to start showing up in sweatshirts.
I like
with
it.
Those overnight lows. In the
No complaints from me. All right, thanks, Michael. Carl Junction police and state authorities are investigating the detonation of a pipe bomb. It happened around 2 a.m. Friday morning in the yard of a home on the 1100 block of York. That's near Center Creek Park in Carl Junction. Police say someone on a dirt bike style motorcycle stopped in front of the home and threw the pipe bomb into the yard where it detonated. Police say no one was hurt. They've contacted the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms to help in the investigation. One person is dead and 4 children injured following a single vehicle crash in Barton County. The accident happened along US 160, 4 miles north of Golden City. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, just after 8 Saturday night, a car driven by 44-year-old Jason Hawkins of Lamar hit a bull in the road, went off the road, and then struck a tree. Hawkins was taken by helicopter to Cox South Hospital in Springfield, where he later died from his injuries. There were 4 children in the car as well, ages 2 to 11. All 4 were taken to Cox-Barton County in Lamar with minor injuries. Well, dining options are increasing in Joplin even without new restaurants being built, and that's because some popular eateries are setting up ghost kitchens in Joplin and allowing folks to order takeout and delivery. The concept is relatively simple. An out-of-town restaurant strikes a deal with a local restaurant and uses the local kitchen to prepare food that can be ordered online. Famous Dave's Barbecue is doing that in Joplin and has set up shop inside Johnny Carino's on Rangeline.
So far so good. Everyone's liked it. We mainly cater to like hospitals, a couple of the Mercy clinics around here, a couple churches and stuff. Everyone seems to like it and they always call back and order more.
And we're going to find out what the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce thinks about local ghost kitchens in our next half hour. According to the Alzheimer's Association, an estimated 6.2 million Americans age 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's or dementia. So they are working to raise awareness of the disease and raise money for a cure. KOAM's Zach Dodge has how an event returning to Pittsburgh could help do just that.
Purple flowers spin in the breeze, and the people who hold them have a story to tell.
2 years ago, I lost my brother-in-law to Alzheimer's.
My grandma passed from it, and my aunt currently is suffering from it.
1 in 3 people over the age of 83 will be affected by Alzheimer's. So SEK is trying to do something about it. The Alzheimer's Association's Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh after an in-person hiatus last year, and it was to a big crowd, full of enthusiastic people like Christy Bolden, who are ready to raise awareness.
To bring that awareness to people that have never had to experience it, and bless them, I'm glad they don't. But for those that have, that there is support out there.
The Alzheimer's Association, a nonprofit that offers support services to families impacted by the disease, also raising awareness on what the disease is and how to get intervention early.
We see struggles with this in every family, in every walk of life. So it's important for your work colleagues to know, for your family members to know, for friends to know those 10 warning signs, and we have free education around that.
So while Alzheimer's isn't stopping, neither are they until a cure is finally found.
Doing stuff like this to help others, even though you've lost your loved one, is still very important.
No one wants to suffer from it. It's a horrible disease, and it puts a mental strain on family and the person suffering. So if we could find a cure, it'd be perfect.
In Pittsburgh, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
More than $13,000 was raised for the association leading up to Saturday's walk, funds that will, in part, go toward research for a cure. Well, if you missed it and want to participate, there is another walk set for October 2nd in Joplin. We'll have details for that one on our website. The Brooke Nicole Robinson Foundation held its 3rd annual golf tournament to raise funds and honor the life of 12-year-old Brooke Robinson. The golf tournament raised money for college scholarships that went to area seniors as well as Joplin youth sports programs. Brooke's father says they hope to keep this event going as long as possible.
After a lot of the kids, and that's what we want to do. I mean, it's good to see kids continue their education and kids get out there and be active in sports. So until we can't do it anymore, we're going to do it. So hopefully 10, 15, 20 years, I don't know.
Last year's tournament raised $16,000 in college scholarships and $4,000 for those involved in youth sports. 6:07.
We'll be up into the 90s today with plenty of sunshine. Remember, thunderstorm activity bringing us a cold front overnight. We'll see anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain, and on that, how about temperatures in the 70s? Look at that icon on a Wednesday. It is the first day of fall. Tanya?
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, how the United Way is helping out local youth even as the pandemic lingers on. Plus, new data shows it's rare for children to experience COVID symptoms beyond 3 months. We're going to check out the research. And experts sound the alarm. Reasons not to skip your doctor's appointments and routine cancer screenings during the pandemic. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
It was a Saturday.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Now, as we progress through the pandemic, everybody has known that it's hard to think about serving other people because at this point in time, a lot of us are so worried about taking care of ourselves, and understandably so. But one organization that is continually trying to take care of others, especially others in need, is the United Way. And we're fortunate enough to be joined this morning by Dwayne Dreiling. He's the executive director of the United Way for not only Southwest Missouri, but also Southeast Kansas. Dwayne, number one, thank you for your time. But number two, I know you've got news about your campaign kickoff that is oh so important to your organization and also to so many people that rely on the United Way each and every year.
Yeah, so this year our campaign theme is Driving Change 365. We really are focusing on that. Even during these times, United Way is here 365 days a year, providing services and funding programs, essential programs in our community. And so really, we're just focusing in on that. United Way is driving change every day of the year. And keeping with that, trying to look at how we, this last year, we're all doing things a little bit different the last 18 months. So for our campaign kickoff this year, we're going to do the first ever drive-through campaign agency nonprofit rally. That's kind of a long title, but we're just going to rally around the nonprofit community.
As a fundraising organization who takes care of children specifically and families who need this, how have you changed the way that you fundraise, and where is success in the future?
And that's a great question. It really has forced us, or we've now looked at how do we do our regular business. And this last year, last campaign, and I think this campaign, we're seeing a lot of companies wanting to go to what we call virtual campaigns. I'm not going to go into the company and do a in-person presentation, bring an agency, maybe bring some clients with me, go in there. And so we're doing a lot of virtual campaigns where we create a secure link on our website, have the campaign video. They have many different options. They can still do payroll deduction, but they'll have a pledge form right there on the website that generates the reports that we send back to the company. And it's really, I think we'll be using that going forward. A lot of companies are saying, our employees have learned that they're working remotely, so we can't hand them a paper pledge form.
Hey,
so
Dwayne,
we're providing that through different means, through our website and through other places.
Dwayne Dreiling of the United Way of
South. I might just mention, Michael, hey, when I was talking about the campaign kickoffs, I didn't say where they are or when, so that's kind of a good thing.
Well, let's get on that.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we invite the public out. On next Tuesday, the 21st, we'll be on the campus of Missouri Southern from 11:30 to 1 in the parking lot south of the stadium. Please come out and honk, wave, and celebrate the nonprofits. The next day, on Wednesday, the 22nd, we'll be on the campus of Pittsburgh State University, just north of the Bicknell Performing Arts Center. Again, in the parking lot, we're going to be setting up with our agencies from 11:30 to 1. Come, drive through, public, please come and celebrate all the accomplishments of our nonprofit community.
That's why he's the best, because he just ropes me in and brings me back and says, remember, Michael, we're here to talk about a campaign kickoff. Dwayne, absolutely love seeing you, my friend. Thank you so much for your time this morning as well. Best of luck to you with your campaign kickoff there coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. And also to remember all the great things that the United Way of Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas does for our communities. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this. It's amazing how in-studio conversations will sometimes dissolve into being chased by a bear versus running into a spider. It's what you get on a Monday morning in September at the KOAM Morning News, folks. Skywatch Storm Tracking our daily almanac for this September the 20th with an average high around 80 degrees. We are going to be way past that. We're going to be right in between our average high of 80 and the record of 99 set back in 1954, as we already sit at 71 degrees with the live look over 7th and Rangeline, even with the humidity at 90%. certainly doesn't feel too bad. Still clinging to some 60s out in Monette and Cassville, mid 60s at that. Compare that to 74 in Chanute, 72 in Miami, and then 71s running from Pittsburgh to Lamar out to Carthage. The Skywatch storm tracker with a little bit of rain coming down in the western part of southeast Kansas. We've been talking about the cold front that's about to sweep through. This line right here, nah, that's not the one we're worried about, even though, look at that, it presents itself some nice heavy rain as you get up into portions of Iowa and Minnesota. This is the one that we're talking about. Right now, I hadn't even gotten to North Platte, Nebraska, but it is well on its way. Sweep through Cody right now, as a matter of fact, is what it's going to do, is everything will collapse down from the southeast and work its way toward us. Speaking of way down to the southeast in the Atlantic Basin, that's where we got Tropical Storm Peter. It's going to skirt Puerto Rico, should stay away from the contiguous 48, but at the same point in time, you're going to have the islands in the Caribbean that are going to have to certainly worry about the storm surge coming off of Peter. And then we have another tropical storm name. We're to the letter R now, Rose. And just want to point out that where we are in the alphabet, even though Rose looks like it's just going to spin off here and hopefully not pose any troubles. If you missed the letter O, that was Odette. And Odette spun off into the North Atlantic. So we got lucky with her too. Here in the 4 states, we're going to go low 90s today. Let's talk about that right-hand side with those thunderstorms that will occur late tonight into Tuesday morning. As they pop up, we'll be looking at anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain, thunder, and lightning, the whole 9. And as it rolls through, how about a 20-degree difference in our daily highs? It's one of the biggest cold fronts we've had in a long time. Look at that, 20-degree drop. So it will certainly feel like fall, with Wednesday being the fall equinox. Be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
This morning, Freeman Health System pediatricians say they're seeing more kids with COVID. Doctors say the increase stems from the Delta variant being more contagious among kids. When it comes to severity, it depends on the child. Officials say you should get your child tested if they show any symptom of COVID.
Now, as opposed to when this pandemic started, we are seeing more kids get sick with that. And I think nationally we see Delta being more affecting children more than the Alpha variant did.
Pediatricians at Freeman do not administer COVID vaccines, but they can refer patients to someone who can. A new review of existing data suggests it's rare for children to experience long COVID symptoms beyond 3 months. Australian researchers analyzed more than a dozen studies involving nearly 20,000 children and adolescents with persistent symptoms. The most common lingering symptoms 4 to 12 weeks after COVID infection were headache, fatigue, sleep disturbance, difficulty concentrating, and abdominal pain. 1/3 of mothers delayed plans to have more children due to the COVID pandemic. Researchers at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine surveyed more than 1,000 mothers in New York and found many who had been thinking about getting pregnant changed their minds during the first few months of the pandemic. Parents with higher stress levels and more economic uncertainty were more likely to rethink having more kids. Well, patients around the country have put off doctor's appointments and routine cancer screenings during the pandemic. And now experts are sounding the alarm that getting checked can be life-saving. Caroline Vandergriff has more from Dallas.
When COVID-19 shut down the country, some medical care was also put on pause.
Screenings in the month of April and 2020 were down by 87%. For breast cancer, 89%, for pap smears for cervical cancer detection.
Routine cancer screenings have since picked back up, but still haven't reached pre-pandemic levels.
I've got a lot of patients who are really, 2 years past when they were due, just based on the timing of things. And that really concerns physicians.
A new survey from the Prevent Cancer Foundation shows 90% of women are visiting friends and going out to eat during the pandemic, but only 48% are visiting their doctor's offices.
Early detection is so key. Are you worried there are going to be cases that were missed through all of this?
We know that there are many, many patients out there right now with undiagnosed breast cancers, cervical cancers, and also colon, prostate, lung, other types of cancers.
I had a routine mammogram, and Like so many, I had delayed getting it during the pandemic.
Senator Amy Klobuchar announced last week she battled breast cancer earlier this year.
I came through it, but in the course of it, I found out that thousands of women have undetected breast cancer right now. And 1 in 3 Americans are not moving forward with just routine exams and physicals during the pandemic.
Doctors are encouraging people to get their routine medical care back on track.
I want to reassure people that it is absolutely safe to go into medical facilities.
Because the earlier many conditions are picked up, the better. Caroline Vandergriff, CBS News, Dallas, Texas.
During the first months of the pandemic, hospitals in the U.S. reported a decline in patients being treated for heart attack and stroke. Doctors say that was due in part to the increased strain on health systems and patients' fear of contracting COVID. Cholesterol-lowering drugs may help patients with a type of inflammatory bowel disease. Stanford medicine researchers found statins seem to be effective for the treatment of ulcerative colitis. About 1 million people suffer from the disease. And new research shows some key risk factors for early chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, in the Hispanic and Latino population. The Brigham and Women's study identified asthma as one of the most important risk factors, followed by smoking and chronic sinusitis. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
On our hands as the sunshine is going to take us up into the low 90s once again. And so as we get ready to close out the latter third of September, we are asking, where's our fall-like weather? Well, tell you what, give it one night and it will be here, because when those thunderstorms begin to roll through this evening all the way into Tuesday morning, bringing us an 1.5 to 2 inches of rain with lightning and thunder in the whole nine, it's going to cool us off about 20-degree difference between today and tomorrow, with overnight lows that are going to dip down into the 50s. Spotty flooding is going to be a concern with the amount of rain that we'll have. We'll be back right after this.
Coming up, a nationwide food trend comes to Joplin, creating more options for dining and takeout. And the walk to end Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Also, the Royals take the crown at the 73rd Emmys.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach, and fall is almost here. Looking forward to it.
I've been doing this a long time, and that's probably happened to me like 2 or 3 times in my entire life.
So what were you eating there, Michael?
Trail mix. Trail mix. Trying to get it down. You know how trail mix gets dry? Mm-hmm. And I mean, you hit the open of the show, and I'll promise you, I was trying hard. I'm good now.
That's good. I'm glad you got it down.
Like I said, you do this long enough, you're going to run into a little bit of everything. We're going film noir over 7th and Rangeline because I was trying to get trail mix down and didn't have time to change it back to color. 71 degrees is where we stand. It's a very, very comfortable morning, even with the humidity at 90%. You wouldn't notice it outside. 71s and 72s being our very dominant number. We are seeing a little rain on the western part of southeast Kansas. Now, this band of rain that we see that stretches actually from the Red River all the way up to portions of Iowa, that's not the one bringing us the cold front. The one bringing us the cold front, it's still sitting up here throughout really Colorado and Nebraska, and you can tell there by the color contour. As it's beginning to creep through northwest Kansas and central Nebraska, and it's going to work its way from southeast down to us. As far as our weather trend goes, still this afternoon, it's going to be a hot one. We'll be up into the 90s with a whole lot of sunshine until this front is able to get on us. And when it does, we'll have the nighttime thunderstorm activity as much as 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. Plenty of thunder and lightning as well, especially there when we see the eastern part of southwest Missouri as it rolls through early Tuesday morning and then makes its way off to the east. Now, behind it is going to be very, very nice. The severe thunderstorm risk map with all the wind and the hail really stays up to our north. And our temperatures, how about finally feeling like fall? Back into the 70s with overnight lows dipping into the 50s.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to those low temperatures.
I think everybody's ready for it.
We're due.
Yeah. Well, and it's perfect that it coincides with, Wednesday being the first day of fall, and we'll be done with our thunderstorms by then. So we'll actually get sunny skies on the first day of fall, but only make it into the 70s.
There you go. We'll take it. All right. Thanks, Michael. Authorities investigate a robbery at the Grace Baptist Church in Baxter Springs. Russell Presson, the church's pastor, says he arrived Sunday morning to see the church had been broken into and several items missing. Among the stolen, many valuable items important for worship, including a guitar, a laptop, and a flat-screen TV.
It was a piano keyboard, full 88 key. It was taken as well. And that is probably the major items. There's some small things, bags of tools. They stole the money out of our Operation Christian Christmas Child jar.
The church filed a report with the Baxter Springs Police Department and says if you know anything about the robbery, to reach out to them. Well, dining options are increasing in Joplin, even without new restaurants being built, and that's because some ghost kitchens have set up shop. KOAM's Mike Mahoney explains.
They aren't the first thing that comes to mind when one thinks about Joplin Italian eatery Johnny Carino's. But their recent ghost kitchen deal with Famous Dave's Barbecue is changing that.
Corporate decided to team up with Famous Dave's to get a location going down here in Joplin. You can order some of our stuff on the menu in the restaurant, but it's mainly like a ghost kitchen.
The ghost kitchen concept is relatively simple. An out-of-town restaurant strikes a deal with a local restaurant and uses the local kitchen to prepare food that can be ordered online and delivered. Four-staters craving some Famous Dave's Barbecue used to have to travel to Branson, but now it's being prepared right on Range Line.
So far so good. Everyone's liked it. We mainly cater to like hospitals, a couple of the Mercy clinics around here, a couple churches and stuff. Everyone seems to like it, and they always call back and order more.
Ghost kitchens provide companies with a cost-effective way to try out their food in a new market. And if it's a hit, that increases the likelihood of the company behind the ghost kitchen permanently setting up shop.
A lot of industries or companies will look at Joplin and say, oh, you're 50,000 people. But we swell up to 250,000 during the day. Our metro reach is much bigger than what we look like on paper. So I think some of these national chains that can set up a ghost kitchen and get their product out and see what kind of momentum they will have, they will see that some of that quantitative data isn't all that quantitative, that the market will drive opportunity, and we have lots of opportunity in Joplin.
In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Well, the Famous Dave's Barbecue Ghost Kitchen has been operating in Joplin for about 3 months now. The Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Pittsburgh. Dozens took to Guerrilla Village at PSU Saturday morning to participate in the walk that had to be held virtually last year because of the pandemic. According to the Alzheimer's Association, an estimated 6.2 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's or dementia. The main goal to raise awareness and raise money for care and a cure.
Alzheimer's is a public health crisis. And being that it's a public health crisis, it affects 1 in 3 people over the age of 83 actually, and then 1 in 3 people die of this disease. So eventually we see struggles with this in every family, in every walk of life.
More than $13,000 was raised leading up to the walk. Plenty of four-staters were out and about in Jasper, Missouri on Saturday for the one and only Jasper Days. The day started with a VFW breakfast, was followed by local shops and vendors taking over downtown, and then a grand parade featuring a marching band, plenty of floats, and folks throwing out candy for the kids. One of the groups who set up a tent, the Jasper Christian Church, says they were out there raising money for the church's new playground equipment.
Pretty good. We've had actually a lot of foot traffic, so that was pretty good. A lot of people buying stuff, playing the games we had, so yeah.
Following the parade, Jasper Days featured a kids tractor pull and a kids pig scramble. How fun. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a search ends and a manhunt begins.
A tragic discovery in the case of Gabby Petito. Authorities believe they have found her body in Wyoming. I'm Bradley Blackburn with details and the urgent search for her boyfriend, who's now gone missing.
Plus, we take you to a glowing tradition in St. Louis. But first, it's 6:37.
Going to have sunshine today and a beautiful start outside of Television City. Temperature is going to be in the 90s before it's said and done on Monday. Then let that cold front roll through tonight and bring us some thunderstorm activity that will actually drop us down to the 70s for the middle of the week with the first day of fall just about 48 hours away. That'll be on Wednesday. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch, after more than a week of searching, investigators believe they may have found the body of 22-year-old Gabrielle Petito, who vanished during a cross-country trip with her fiancé. He's now the subject of an intense manhunt in Florida. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
The search for Gabrielle Petito appears to have come to a tragic end. A body matching the description of the missing woman was found by investigators yesterday at a campsite in Wyoming.
Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time.
The 22-year-old's family had not heard from her since late last month when she contacted them from Grand Teton National Park. In July, Petito set out on a cross-country drive with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. On August 12th, a Utah police officer pulled their van over. The body cam video shows the couple in the middle of an emotional argument.
We've been fighting all morning and he wouldn't let me in the car before.
According to police, Laundrie was alone when he arrived at his parents' home in Florida on September 1st. He was named a person of interest in the case, but refused to speak to detectives before going missing last week. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Investigators believe Laundrie may be somewhere inside the Carlton Reserve, a 24,000-acre wildlife refuge in Sarasota County. More than 50 law enforcement officers have been deployed there to search for him. Well, Sky High tradition returned over the weekend in St. Louis. The Great Forest Park Balloon Race features nearly 70 hot air balloons. The event opened Friday night in a 30-acre field that featured the balloons lit up in all their colorful glory after dusk. Evening allowed visitors to enjoy the sights and meet the pilots. It all set the stage for Saturday's race, where balloon pilots try to drop a beanbag as close as possible to a mark set by the lead balloon. The event dates back to 1973 and says it lays claim to being the second longest running balloon race in the country. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our something to talk about.
Does that not surprise you that the second longest balloon race only dates back to 1973?
I know.
You'd think it would be longer than that.
Maybe there was like different versions of balloon racing, but this particular one, I don't know.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I just thought balloon race, seemed like you date obviously pre-airplane. Then again, think about how long it's been since we put a man on the moon. People don't realize that it's been that long.
Yep.
All right, something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. The 73rd Emmy Awards, as Cedric the Entertainer hosted last night's show along with an all-star hip-hop tribute. The Crown won the award for Best Drama Series, Best Supporting Actor, Actress, Writing, and Directing Awards. Get this, Olivia Colman and Josh O'Connor, they won for their portrayals of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles. Also, too, I would have to point out The Queen's Gambit. It was named Outstanding Limited Series. That made me extremely happy this morning to hear that. All right, our question to you. Were your favorite shows represented at this year's Emmys? Right? I love this. 73% of you are like, no. And I don't blame you. Because if Queen's Gambit and The Crown are going to win everything, then no, the majority of us are not going to have our favorite shows represented. I get that. All right, you can always log on to KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or connect to us via our Facebook page, and we'll be right back with birthdays and anniversaries next.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Private First Class Clarence Obenhaus in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Erie, Kansas, joined the Battery A 141st Anti-Aircraft Artillery Gun Battalion in 1944. While fighting in Germany in World War II, the soldier earned 2 Bronze Stars and a sharpshooter badge. To Private Clarence Obenhaus, we thank you, our four-state hero. That brings us to our first birthday on the list today, and that is Clarence Obenhaus's daughter, Sharon McCauley, who's 81 years old this year in Moran, Kansas. I have a note here. Clarence carried Sharon's picture of her through Germany during World War II. Also appeared as a guest on Melody Matinee. Pretty cool. Happy birthday, Sharon.
Cover Whitley, a big number 1. Check out that smile right there. Cover, a very happy birthday this weekend from Ma and Papa as he celebrates in Oswego.
All right. Houston Zimmerman turning 3 years old in Humboldt. As I understand, Houston is now a big brother.
Yeah, he is.
To twins, a boy and a girl.
I take care of him,
That's
man.
That's his little bro in that pic. There we go.
You're now in charge, Houston. Bree Miller, a happy 8th birthday. Playing for the Wild Things right there. She's in Seneca. And Bria, a happy birthday from Mom, Dad, Ken, Bella, and Nanny.
She looks like a lot of fun there. All right, we've got Carissa Jordan turning 9 years old this year. Happy birthday, Carissa. Hope you have a great one.
Now we get to double digits. And there's Kingston Stafford. Kingston, you're going to start our double-digit crew off, man, as he's turning 11. A very happy birthday in Golden City.
In Carl Junction, Evan Lee celebrating birthday number 13 this year.
I'm on a boat.
On a boat.
Cool picture right there, man.
That is pretty cool.
King of the world on a boat like Leo. On to Sweet 16, Hannah Bailey. A very happy birthday to Miss Hannah. She is celebrating in Girard.
Hey.
That dude, who that is. Look at that.
Digging that picture there.
Look at
Mr. Jonathan Adam is 16 this year.
Number 1 he got there. You know. Number 2 turned out to be a pretty good looking dude right there.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Jonathan. Love you, man. Andrew Slickteen, he is celebrating his 19th birthday. A very happy birthday to Andrew in Jasper. And I want you to know, Andrew, that this comes with love from Granny and Papa.
All right, turning 31 this year in Parsons. It's time to celebrate for Jessica Cooper. Happy birthday.
And Jessica Scott, she's turning 37. Now, Jessica currently resides in Augusta, which that's easy because you can always go and watch our complete birthday list at KOAMNewsNow.com. But I'd also be remiss if I didn't point out that Jessica used to live in Chanute. So all of your Chanute friends, Jessica, I'm encouraging them to call you up and wish you a happy birthday today. I get that's so outdated. Nobody calls anybody up anymore. You do it via social media. I get that.
Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. Denise Robinson is a former Girard resident who's now in Wichita celebrating the Big 5-0. I bet she gets called up.
Call her up.
Yeah.
There you go. People in Girard, call her up. Tracy Voorhees, she's also celebrating her 50th
Check out that
birthday.
picture.
That's a cool picture right there. Okay, don't mess with Tracy and make sure you tell her happy birthday. She is flexing in Altamont. Happy birthday, Tracy.
All right. I don't know if that background is in Altamont, but that's pretty cool.
That's good.
All right, we've got Dennis Oplotnik celebrating birthday number 72 this year. Hope it's a great one, Dennis, in Columbus.
This woman right here, she's part of our extended family because that is the mother of our master control operator, Janice Rennie. And Janice may not claim us, but you know what, Janice? We claim you, and we love you very, very much. A very happy birthday to Janice in Columbus. May I?
Yes, please do.
That woman right there on the left. That is Wava Everly, and she is celebrating a birthday over the weekend in Miami. And I am simply going to say, you know how much I love you, and you know how much I thank you. But, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's another member of the KOAM extended family, Miss Selena Wallace, who are Master Control Supervisor. Friend Wallace's mother
I remember
celebrating.
I remember when they had that picture taken.
Oh, that is a really cool picture.
Yeah.
Hopefully won't be too long before we can bundle up like that again.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Selena.
Happy birthday.
I'll keep your son in line for you.
Try
Make that
to.
my job.
Try to.
Corey and Trisha Largent, a happy 18th. That's a beautiful picture right there. Congratulations to the Largents. They celebrate their 18th anniversary, and they are in Parsons. And as a matter of fact, Parsons is a great place for anniversaries because Rob and Amy Monty are celebrating their 23rd anniversary in Parsons as well. And that's a beautiful picture of the Monties out there by the water. Congratulations, Rob and Amy.
All right. We've got Brennan Wilson turning 11 years old, the all-star there. Brennan, who just happens to be our marketing consultant, Zach Wilson's oldest son.
Much more successful on the diamond than his father could ever dream of. Congratulations, Brennan. That's right, I said it. Elvira Lathrop, a happy 82nd birthday. Elvira is in Lawton, Kansas. Brittany DeGonia, now a teenager. Congratulations, Brittany. She is in Crestline. And Belinda Houston, a very happy birthday in Bartlett.
All right.
Oh wait, I didn't see that Cindy Wallace, who's down. It says Phoenix, Arkansas. That's interesting.
Because that's.
Do you guys know that the abbreviation for Arizona is AZ? Is she in Phoenix, Arizona? Is that where she is? Okay, I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
Anyway, Cindy is Belinda's sister. I don't know if they're twins. I'm gonna guess they're twins. And I'm going to guess she's actually in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. That'd be
Anyway,
pretty cool.
it doesn't matter. Cindy's not watching. Belinda, you're the one I'm wishing a happy birthday to. Happy birthday, Belinda. Then tell your sister I said happy birthday.
All right, we've got Peggy Broyles Sutherland turning 69 years old this year in Galena, Kansas. Hope you have a happy one, Peggy. And Larry Bailey celebrating a birthday in Arma.
Okay. He knows it's coming.
Are you eating trail mix
It's
again,
cool because he knows it's coming. He knows it's coming. A happy 66th birthday. Kevin Knop! Goes back to the days when his boys were playing football. It goes back that far. Happy birthday, Kevin in Fortnite. And Cash Marietta's now 21. My good night, Irene. Happy birthday, Cash, in Lawrence, Kansas. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to all. We'll come back, wrap up this edition of the KOM Morning News right after this. Temperatures right now in the low 70s. Very delightful start to our morning. It is going to be a hot afternoon, though, as we'll push up into the low 90s. But remember, we've got a cold front that is on its way. As it gets here, though, thunderstorm activity for tonight into tomorrow morning, especially when you push off to the eastern part of southwest Missouri. We're going to have thunder, lightning, anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain, the whole 9, as we like to say. But it will do a nice job cooling us off, as we'll be in the 70s for the rest of the week until we get to the weekend.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making slow cooker short ribs and cabbage in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Of course, your morning news continues on KOAM. We've got the CBS Morning News. That's coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And we've got a lot of fun coming up. We're going to recap the SpaceX splashdown, and we've got details about a big event that happened at Reddings Mill Bridge.
Yeah, I was thinking about the splashdown and everything. I don't know why I was thinking about him over the weekend. I think it's just because it was like, it's just got to be so scary. I just can't fathom. And I'm not afraid of roller coasters or anything like that. It's just, man, it's just got to be scary, especially for a civilian.
Yeah, well,
you know, we're not trained to do stuff like that. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining us here on the KOAM Morning News. One last gasp of summer, temperature-wise. Do me a favor, be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
and we're going to do it again today at noon.